God is the love that you are, you'd all go, oh yeah. I'd say, God is the peace inside of you, you'd go, oh yeah. And if I say, God is your bank account, you'd go, no. Yes. Everything is a spiritual idea coming into visible form. Middle C, first note, the one and only cause. We've got to get that first. That foundation has to be so well laid within our consciousness before we can do anything else with it. Most of us didn't grow up hearing that, as I've already said. Most of us grew up with the idea of the whole church thing as, this was money and this is human life and then this is God over here. We have physical form, but what we're dealing with is a metaphysical understanding beyond the physical. It just means quit looking out there for your answers and go to the first cause. Metaphysical is not a scary word. It just means beyond, above and beyond the physical. But forget the spiritual for a minute, the religious. Forget all that. Just our culture, our family, the things that we hear. We're not used to hearing that God is our source, are we? We're used to hearing your job, your paycheck, other people, your spouse, doctors, hard work, the government, the economy. We're used to hearing that those things are our source. And God forbid if an economist says it's going to be a tough year, all the people fall in line and go, okay, it's going to be a tough year. Because we're putting our focus in the wrong place. We're putting our focus out there as if those things are our source. But those things are not our source. Even though, even now, a lot of us still get trapped in that kind of a teaching, that kind of an understanding. When you think of where does all my good come from, you think of the people in your life or the paycheck and things like that. False. All false. All false. Those things are all avenues from which that one cause can operate. Are you with me? Yeah. All avenues that one cause can work through. They are not our source. So if you have any hangovers that says, if I don't have a paycheck, then that means I have no money. Get past it. I know, easier said than done. Do we all get stuck in these things sometime? Yes. Absolutely. Every single one of us. Whether it's our health, whether it's our wealth, whether it's our relationships, we all get stuck in it. But thank God we have a place where we can come and hear again. Those things are not our source. They are just simply the avenues that the Spirit is working through in our lives. So do we want a job? Well, I do. It's really nice to have one. But I know that is not where my source comes from. My job is a resource. If my mortgage goes up, do I freak out? Well, maybe at first. But then I very quickly go, wait a minute. Do I believe in one source or not? It's like the rubber hits the road when sometimes those things happen. When people end up in the hospital that I love and I start to get a little bit worried about, do I go into worry? Sometimes, sure. But in very short order, right back to that same place. God is the one and only source. Over and over and over and over. The reason to do it over is to make the shift in our awareness. We must make the shift in our awareness from looking at the physical to looking at the metaphysical. We must learn the spiritual language. And the spiritual language begins with God is all there is. Again, some of you are going, yeah, I've heard that. But unless we are living it, it's only a thought that we've heard. And it sticks here. We want to move it into here, into embodiment, into heart. And then we want to move it into our application. So if your life is demonstrating these principles, well, give yourself a really big pat on the back. If not, you have another chance to learn again. So here we are learning again. So let me go to Eric Butterworth, and let's go to our next slide. This one up here. We're not talking about some God that has given out all the goodies. God is not a dispenser of divine substance. God is the allness of ever-present substance in which we live, move, and have being. He says a little bit more after that. And this is the subtle but vitally important key on which the entire structure of spiritual economics rests. Sometimes it's taught as if we are to go to this God and ask to be given the goodies. What he is saying, and what I so resonate with, is this subtly important key, that God is not a dispenser of divine substance. God is the allness of the ever-present substance in which we live, move, and have our being already. I keep feeling like I want to just like stop and let you like soak that in, right? It's not that we have to go get something from God. It's not like we have to say, God, please give me all the best you have. God, if God could speak to us like a dude, like a man, he'd say, I already have. I already have. When are you going to take it? When are you going to open your arms and just let it be the truth? It is already the truth. We are already provided with everything we could need. Right here in the very air, we are vibrant with everything we need, but we're not taught that. So we need to shift our awareness that this presence, that everything we need is already here. And as Butterworth says, this is the key to the entire structure of spiritual economics. Not to get God to give you something that you don't have, but to realize you already do. If it's not showing up in form yet, then we just go back to this awareness. God is the one and only source. We go back to the first note over and over again. The master teacher Jesus said these words that most people will recognize. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added. All right, well, first of all, the word kingdom in the Aramaic can also be translated as counsel. Let's say it that way, counsel. Seek first the counsel of God, and all else shall be added. What do you suppose he was meaning? I think in this context, we can put it in lots of different contexts, but in this abundant context, maybe what he was saying is don't seek money, don't seek success, don't seek resources as a thing of their own. Seek first the understanding, the awareness, the counsel, the kingdom of the one and only source, and all these things will be added. You see, we put our attention in the wrong place so often. We put our awareness in the wrong place so often. It's great that we should have success. It's great that we should have resources of all types. It's wonderful that we should have them, but they're secondary. Jesus taught it, Ernest Holmes taught it, Eric Butterworth taught it, many people have taught that the things of life are secondary. Seek first the counsel of God, and all else shall be added. We're seeking that creative source first so that we can feel that consciousness within us. And then we begin to attract stuff that feels like miracles. And the truth is, you just can't stop that from happening. If you're living in that place, you can't stop it from happening. We do stop it. We do stop it. I had this visualization this morning of a gate. And I thought, okay, so it's like as if we have all the resources that we could ever need right here from the one source. But it's like we've got a big metal gate that maybe we've cracked it open just a little bit. And then our next vision was, well, how about our picket fence? A picket fence with the gate open. And then they're all open. Between the pickets, it's all open. Oh, that's pretty good. Then the next visual was, ooh, how about a chiffon curtain? You see, it's like it's already here. How are we going to let it in the most? So the chiffon curtain was a really nice visual. And then it was like, if I can get to the chiffon curtain, it's like, well, then I really don't need anything. I don't need anything there. But that's what we do. We put the gate up to our own good. I want us to stop putting the gate up to our own good. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Now let me go to this last Butterworth one. I love this. Prosperity is a way of living and thinking, and not just money or things. Poverty is a way of living and thinking, and not just a lack of money or things. Read it a few times. I know people who have a prosperous way of thinking, whether or not their ups and downs of their bank account happen, including myself. I'm a prosperous thinker, so if my finances take a dip, it's all right. It's like no matter what's happening on the physical form, I'm a prosperous thinker. And I know people who